Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to SCL Season 10. This is me and Ryan doing this season's Power Rankings post-draft. This is a Power Rankings based on how you drafted, not on how you play. We'll be explaining why we put everyone where they are. And yeah, Ryan, you can take it over.
Alright. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Ryan. So, I just want to thank everyone for participating in the reunion season. Even though we have busy lives, I appreciate everyone putting in the time and the effort that you can to make this season truly special towards all the people that have been playing since season 2. And it doesn't really matter because we're all a family, we're all a community, and I just want to thank you all from the deepest of my heart that you guys are still with us, even though everyone has moved their own ways. But that being said, fuck y'all.
Amen.
Um, we win. Centrios is winning this season.
That's
Yeah,
right. First win. First one's coming
first
up.
win. But yeah, this is our power ranking. So overall, we know we fucked up and we should have done 110 points, and 100 is a little bit slim. So a lot of things that people are missing during a draft.
Yeah.
Everyone included are missing something. No one can have a perfect team, but I based off these rankings off of near perfection, mostly like synergize, versatility, and like just basic draft league stuff like hazard control, speed control, all the and like type matchups overall. And that's how I really Luke and I ranked both of these power rankings. But yeah, so starting at number 16, we have unfortunately the Vancouver Warlords and Pokey. Overall, I think Poke, your team is fantastic. But there's just some major type weaknesses happening on your team. Like ground spam is so
Oh,
five Pokemon weak to ground, with one immunity in Dragonite, which loses to Stone Edge plus Earthquake. Um, but yeah, oh Edgequake, that's what it's called,
yep.
Edgequake. Loses to Edgequake really easily. I don't understand why Sableye here. I think you could pick up a better Dark type for 7 points. But overall, I think Diancie plus Pex is a really solid team. 2 months, especially pairing with Dragonite and Blacephalon. I do think that work can be done on this team. Like you have to still not walk it off as a free win. I think that Poke can bring a lot of good strats with this team. Like Dragonite super scary and Blacephalon has to force prep. But I think that you could definitely have time in the FA period to pick up some of the things that block off your weaknesses like ground. Um, and get a little bit more hazard control. Um, but yeah, overall, I just with that, I have to put you at last place just because all your threats are weak to ground type, and ground earthquake is and ground types are like a must in this
Yeah.
generation. Okay, going on to 15. DailyL. Um, Daily already knows he has a crap team, but overall, his offensive prowess on this team is fantastic. Gladios, Infernape, not to scoff at, and Mega Beedrill over the top. I just wish he went more offensive. Like honestly, you could have got a more offensive Dark type. You could have maybe got Bishop. That would have helped you a lot. Um, and maybe more of an offensive Water type as well. I don't like Aloe Tails on your team too much because I understand you needed a Fairy type and it's fast and it hits semi hard. But I feel like if you're not running screens on it, Ninetales Alolan at least kind of is ass cheeks. And I feel like with your team that you want to be pivoting a lot, getting up screens might hurt you in the long run. So I maybe picking up something more offensive just so you will have momentum the whole entire game. That few people will have to be put on the back foot where you can be able to U-turn and off Infernape and Mega Beedrill for big damage. Um, I do like Ditto on your team. Actually, it pairs everything that all those setup sweepers that can come at you, like a bulky psychic type or a bulky water that can set up. Um, is really good. I think your team has a little bit trouble of breaking down bulky waters. Outside of Galvantula. And I think you could pick up a better steel type. Overall. Like there's Bronzong there. Poke could also bring up Bronzong. Would be really good. And just like overall, I don't think Doublade is the Pokemon that should put your team all together. I think there's some other good lower tier steel types there, that might give you more of a stealth rock preference because you only have one rocker. In all honesty, which is infinite, but you need that thing to break a lot of teams down. Next, we are moving on to the Clay Bornful. I don't want to say his name. It's too early in the morning for this. But next we have his team with Q and Black, Sizzler, Omega, Ferrothorn, Pelipper, Chansey, Stormy, Togetic, Chinchino, and Scyther. I think he should just pick up Rain. Luke already heard
Yeah.
about this many times now. That
Mhm.
he should just drop Sizzler and Mega and pick up Mega Swampert. He doesn't have a ground type. I think just Mega Swampert helps Q Black break better, and then maybe get a faster electric type for Starmie overall. I mean, sorry, not electric type, psychic type for Starmie, and I think that team would be very, very threatening. And yeah, like that's literally all the changes that I think you should make. Maybe get an electric type, like something like a Jolteon, which is now on the board because I'm dropping it. Smiley, something like that to pair nicely. Because just yeah, it would like spamming thunders on this team with rain would be very, very fantastic.
Mhm.
You have good momentum with U-turns and stuff, but I think you just have to trust in your Ferrothorn plus Chansey walls, and your team at all three, like your three big pieces, Ferrothorn, Chansey, and Kyurem, are all weak to fighting types. So I think Stormy and Togetic have to, or Pelipper are really pressured every single week. Just have to switch on them because you can't bring all three. If you want to get as much offensive pressure as you want, as well as offensive pressure, I think that Kyurem Black is the hard carry. It's a 1v6 Pokemon on this team, though, because it has to hard carry, breaking through everything, breaking through one check, two check, just for you to have a chance of winning overall. Just so Stormy and maybe Sizzle or Swampert has a chance. But
Yeah.
yeah, overall, I think there's some Pokemon that can really, really help you in that phase, period. Next, we're going on RayRay and the London Dunsparce. His team consists of Mew, Terrakion, Mandibush, Chandelure, Eggon Mega, Quagsire, Whimsicott, Ludicolo, Stunfisk, and Kangaskhan. Um, like Clayboardful, it has a lot more ways to play around it, but I think his team also lacks offensive pressure. I feel like Mew is so good if you have the right walls with it, like a breaker, a cleaner, two walls, and then that's when Mew really, really shines. When you can, it doesn't have to be put into a specific role. But on this team, since his speed tiers are probably one of the worst in the whole entire league, with 108 being his Whimsicott, I guess 118 and 108 being his fastest Pokemon, I think Mew has to become as a setup threat or a wall breaker every single week. I think he won't have enough things to break through unless the person is really, really god awful. I don't think Turak plus Chandelier can get it done every single week. Um, but I might be wrong. But I feel like Mew has to be more of a pivotal free attack Pokemon every single week. Just so it can get advantage of being able to open up holes for track. Sorry. Um, but overall, I think Manobuzz plus Aegon plus Quagsire is a really good defensive coin. I really wish he had Wish Pass. I think Kangaskhan gets Wish. So that's also there.
Does it?
But like a reliable Wish Pass there.
Yeah, yeah.
But overall, I just think his team lacks a little bit, like I said, offensive pressure, and that's why I put it down so low. Maybe picking up something for Ludicolo and Stunfisk might be good. I understand that you need to fill out the points because it's the points thing, but like I feel like for 9 you could get a 9-pointer and a 1-pointer, and something like Electivire might help you be able to break through a little bit more better checks than usual. And then next, I'm going with his brother, the Forest City Farfetch'd and Lewis, with Lando, Suicune, Manectric, Klefki, Haxorus, Balloon, Delphox, Cresselia, and Reggie Ice. This team on paper looks really, really well, but if you dive more into it, his speed control is pretty decent. His hazards are pretty terrible. His hazard control is pretty terrible. He has one Stealth Rocker and one Spike user and two Defog users, and Lando and Klefki. but usually Lando shines the best Pokemon in the format in Gen 7. Relies on not being able to have to run both Stealth Rock and Defog. It can get away with one, but on this team, I think for its role playing potential, I think it has to be a little bit more defensive, not like a Scarf variant every single week. Just so it can get up rocks for its team. And it has to have some hazard control unless he's just gonna forgo that, which is okay. But I think that Lando falls into the 4 move syndrome with Earthquake, U-turn, knockoff, Stealth Rocks, Defog, all that stuff. Plus Stone Edge for coverage. And it lacks us a little bit of creativity because Lando likes to bring like a hidden HP to catch off like a Scizor or Garchomp or something like that. But yeah, overall I think his team is fairly well rounded based on typing, and I think that he needs a little bit more momentum ons in because his only momentum ons is Lando plus Manectric, to get in something like a Breloom and a Haxorus, to break everything that he wants to break. But his defensive core is solid. Cresselia, Klefki, Suicune is very, very good.
Mhm.
Ghost Spam is very free on his team, actually. I wish he has a Dark type to cover that up because I think like a Gengar or something like that is really, really good against him.
I don't think
Or even
anyone has
Chandelure.
Gengar.
Yeah, something like that. Just a strong Ghost type.
Yeah.
Or even like a Psychic type with Shadow Ball.
Blacephalon would move.
Yeah, Blacephalon could run through his team. Alright. Going on to number 11. And I have Faded Keys. Overall, and the Summit Umbreon, sorry. Overall, I like Faded's team. It has the same issue with the London Dunsparces, and I think that it lacks offensive presence. I think Megalop is a lot to deal with, and it also reminds me of the Bornson's team actually. I feel like Lop and Q and Blacko 1v6 every single week. I think Volcarona is a very good pairing with Megalopony, but Lopunny has to be his breaker and his sweeper every single week, and I think that's a lot to ride on that bunny. Just because his team is so defensive. Zapdos, Donphan, Slowbro, Cofagrigus is fantastic. He just doesn't have a viable Scarf user, which will help him revenge. Other than slacking, but like, haha. Um, Bishop with Sucker Punch is also viable, but like, it's also very predictable. I don't know why he has Bishop plus Fortress, I guess, but I guess his hazard control is one of the best in the league. But I think that he lacks offensive pressure without those 2 mons, and it'll force like Zapdos, Donphan, and Slowbro to have a little bit more EVs in attack, and he might lose out in the bulk in the long run because he's trying to break down some other teams' very bulky teams. But overall, I think his defensive team, and the way that he plays around it might be good, but I just feel like on the offensive pressure, it is pretty lackluster overall. And then going on to number 10, it's me. Haha. I feel like I've been saying for everyone on the lower tier ladder, it's a 1v9 season for your top mon because whatever, and I feel like that's the same. I think I'm right in on Lele's back. I have a very balanced team, but like a lot of my Pokemon have to fit in multiple roles. Like Kook has to be my pursuit plus my main ground type. Vaporeon has to come defensive almost every single week or when team gets run through. And Salamence has to become that wall breaker for me because I don't have that wall breaker other than Lele. That's probably to the extent of it. I'm not gonna trash my whole team every single week, but I don't think it's that good. My speed tiers are good and my hazard control is good, but like offensively going forward, it's gonna be hard and I have to make a lot of plays. If I make a mistake, it's very punishable for my opponent to make.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next going on is number 9 in the Hamilton Houndoons. Like everyone in this season, this team also lacks offensive pressure. Like Faded, it has a very good defensive coring in Clefable, Mega Venusaur, and Empoleon. But overall, I think his team actually lacks just as much of a little bit less of offensive pressure than Faded. I think Victini and Minchao is a little bit better overall. plus Noivern plus Vikavolt, better than the Lopunny Volcarona. But overall, I think Noivern's more of a pivot than a breaker, and I think Victini has to bring Life Orb, Choice Scarf, Choice Band, Choice Specs every single week, or won't do enough damage as he wants it to. Especially if he does click Banded V-Crate, he nukes one button, and then someone switches into his Dark type, Pursuit Trap, and his biggest offensive threat is dead right then and there. Vikavolt and Vikavolt and Noivern also are weak to rocks. All of his hazard control minus Empoleon are weak to rocks, like Rotom Mow, Noivern that has defog. I guess Claydol, but like Claydol's Claydol. Fuck that guy. If you bring it, I'll be surprised. Well, I bet he'll bring it if you bring it more than 3 times. Sorry, I'll be surprised.
I was
Smiley.
about to say he'll bring it against you just for the
Yeah,
name.
he'll bring it against me now. But I wish that he picks up something better than Persian Alolan as well. Like as I was saying for Parker, 7 points is still a lot of points. You can get a lower tier breaker that can help you get through some stuff.
I think Lanoon's in that division there.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of good craft like Pokemon like Scrafty can also be a bulk up breaker. It gives you more defensive stuff. I know it's double fighting, but like it's double fighting. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, overall, I really do like this team defensively. But going forward, it's gonna be hard for him to break down something like David's team maybe with Togekiss and Moongus, stuff like that. Even like I think Clay Bornfull's Chansey and stuff. Me and Shao has to go crazy that game, right? Um, but yeah, that's why I put you at number 9. Number 8, I put the Ashburn, Snorlaxes, and Luke. Luke and I already talked about his team a lot. It's a pretty mid team. He has a lot of threats here, but he also has a lot of weaknesses. It's just depending on how he plays around it. Katana, like he has a lot of good breakers. Katana, Nihilego, Thundurus, Gujo, Blaziken, Mamo are really good. Slowbro is really good here. I just wish he had more reliable recovery for Slowbro other than Wish from Wigglytuff. Um he has good hazard control with Katana defog, Blaziken defog, and Thunder Stallion defog plus Murkrow. But yeah, overall I think his speed tiers are pretty good too. But overall I just think like Earthquake spam is pretty free against him. Like Parker. He loses to Edgequake pretty easily. But yeah, overall his team is mid, and it has the offensive and defensive pressure to back it up. And that's why I put him at number 8. Next, I am picking up the Dallas Metagross's. Oh, again. I think this guy should have just went Sand, bro. I've said this a lot. I feel like, I disagree with the Sun. I think Sun is good. Like, don't get me wrong, Sun is heat is very, very good, but like I don't know why you just didn't pick up Mega Titar. You built a really good team around Mega Titar, like Finny plus Latias covers all of his weaknesses really well. Yeah, just Mega Titar would have been fantastic because I feel like on this team, Excadrill is forced into more of a support Excadrill because base 88 is not that very fast. Um, and it has to be either like a render scarf to be able to revenge kill, or it has to be the main breaker. But overall, I feel like without as many stealth rock users as you want, it's your only one actually. Looking at it now, it has to be run that as well as if you want to run defog on Lottie plus Finny, be my guest. But Rapid Spin is also good, so I feel like it has to be brought a little bit more defensively. To the fact also that it's the only ground and steel type, so a lot of pressure is appointed on it. Especially as well as I think that your team can get wore down easily. Yes, Euladias has Wish, but overall, just being able have to rely on Finny and Excadrill to wall a lot of your things because your speed tiers aren't as great as some other teams. 115, 110, and then Sun, obviously. But I just think that Sand could all just do so much better. Escadrille could put in so much work, and you can pick up another Pokemon for 8. I think like Mega Tita is like I don't even know where we put it.
Yeah. I think it's
13,
cheap. I think
and
it's much cheaper.
so you would have 10 points if you get rid of Venusaur to pick up something else, to help you out. I think that's just more like smarter and stuff overall. Also you don't have like a good way to get up any other hazards at all. Actually, you don't. Well, and yeah, and that's why I put you at number 7. I just think that sand is so much better here than sun. Um, Next, going on the Toronto Talonflames and Pitt. Yes, his team is dummy top heavy, but it's with 3 of the best draft league Pokemon in the game. Um, 3 out of the 10 probably I would say. Celesteela 0 and Zygarde 50. He does not have a Stealth Dog setter, lol, but he has a lot of removal. He has like 2 Defog users, a Rapid Spin, and 2 Magic Bounce users, which is really, really good. I just feel like you know what 6 Pit is bringing every single week. But it's very hard because Celesteela is very versatile, plus 0 Aura, damn. And then Zygarde 50 just runs through his team really well. And I really like the Mega Absol pick. Um, is really, really good at cleaning and getting up some certain KOs that you want. But overall, I just think your lack of momentum will hurt you in the end because you have to make a lot of predicts into Florges, into Celesteela, to absorb all those hits, which might not hurt you in the well, and you have to prep well, to be honest. Okay, going on to number 5, we have Kenny and the Baltimore Blazekins. I just want to preface 1 to 5 was really, really hard. Probably the hardest that it's ever been in SCL to rank teams. 1 to 5 could be put anywhere, I think, in my eyes, but I had to put them somewhere, and this is where I put them. So don't be offended. But yeah, it's just off of everything I've said so far. So number 5 is Baltimore Blazekins and Kenny. I really do like this team. This team doesn't have to stress out a lot about certain mons being in certain roles because this team has a lot of versatility. Sylveon, Gliscor, Como O, is very, very good defensively and offensively. Specs Sylveon, Swords Dance, Gliscor, Dragon Dance, Clanging Scale, Specs, Como O. Does not have to be defensively weak, but it can be for Kenny. Blastoise is a very good defensive water type with Rapid Spin. Mo fits his team perfectly well with a nice pivot. Lolan traps in all those bulky psychic types because his team does have an issue breaking down bulky psychic types because he doesn't have a main threat, but now with Lolan he does. Mega Zam is a perfect Pokemon to clean up the game for him. And Kangaskhan Mega overall is just a solid mon. But yeah, I like the versatility. He definitely has the best versatility team in the whole entire draft. But at the same time, that could hurt him because a lot of these mons like Gliscor and Como do fall into the 4-move syndrome. He has to be very meticulous on what moves he wants to bring every single week, and will it be enough power to break through some stuff, or will it be enough utility and bulk to survive some of these dangerous mons that are against him, right? Um, and that's something that he has to watch out for, but I believe he can do it. But yeah, Como is a really good pick. It's super, super versatile, and it's a bomb in itself. Going to number 4, I'm gonna put the Somerset Steenies at number 4. I think 20 plus Mega Gallade is just so good together. Kyurem Black is a wall breaker, and Gen 7 is hard to switch into. Still, I think Greninja, Greninja on top with spikes and T spikes from Nidoqueen and Stealth Rocks are very, very good together. His team is very, very good at being able to pivot with 20 plus Greninja, and Rotom with as a levitate user, as a fighting and normal immunity is very good with the team. Diancie over the top is actually really good pickup. It provides a lot of defensive bulk, and then Ascav and Typhlosion is very well put as well together. I just think like 20 Mega Gallade is a very good threat. Like it's a very hard 2 months to switch into. Just Gallade in general is really, really hard. But like you have to worry about Gallade plus QM, but then 20 could sweep you 1 week, or Specs Greninja could go crazy, right? But overall, I think his team is really well complete. His team might be a little weak to Edgequake, but here and there. But Gallet, like all he has to do is kind of pivot and then play like around it and just drop in a nuke every single week. I think that with his Will's team, he needs to be on the offensive front. If he's ever on the back foot, I think it's playing the defensive game. I think he'll lose. But with this team, it's really hard to get on the back foot unless he makes a lot of mistakes. I think that this team provides a lot of offensive pressure, that a lot of teams in this league don't have, which could be very, very good with them. But yeah.
And Brian just picked
Next
his last pick as well.
pincer I saw.
Yeah. I actually kind of wanted
And
that.
next number 3, I'm going with Silvio and the New York Cosmos. I think that Silvio has a really, really good team. Um, I know what he can do and I know his ability, and I think that's what makes the team dangerous. But on paper, that's what I have to look at face value on paper. Um, I think that his team is a third place team. Like it's really, really good. Has a lot of pivot potential with baton pass, Togekiss, volt switch heat, and U-turn from scissor. He has a lot of hazard control. I'm sorry, a lot of hazard removal. But the one thing this team lacks is Garchomp is his only rock user, and Cloister is his only spike center. And I think with Mega Zam, I think Mega Zam likes to have Pokemon that are on 76%, on 88%, getting chipped down a little bit and wary from rocks. So this thing can just spam 2 Psychics, you're dead. 2 Psychics, you're dead. I also this team has a lot of versatility on his Scarf users, like Scarf Scissor, Scarf Togekiss, Scarf Rotom Heat is really good. I just think overall, I think he wants Garchomp to be his more offensive breaker. Yes, he has Shell Smash Cloister, but other than that, I feel like Scizor has to come defensive almost every single week, or he's losing a lot of his overall well-rounded bulk because Dragon types are everywhere. Um, but yeah, and Togekiss isn't a insane reliable fairy type that can absorb hits every single week, just because it doesn't have a really good defense stat. But I think that going back to Garchomp, sorry, but I think Garchomp has to become more of a role player. It might fall into the more 4 move syndromes every single week if he wants to get up Stealth Rocks. I think that Garchomp has a lot of pressure on him, being his switch into electric types, and being his Breaker plus Dragon type. Um, it forces him to bring Garchomp a little bit more offensively if he wants to break down bulkier water teams or bulkier psychic teams. I think Garchomp has to be the guy that gets it done. Um, which could reliably bringing Garchomp to be more like it sets to be more predictable, right? I just feel like Garchomp on this team is very vital, and I feel like its pressure is immense when it comes to building. But I think David overall is a great trainer, and I think he can get it done. Um, but yeah, that's why I have to put this team at number 3 and not number 1. At number 2, I'm putting Georgia Giraffe Rig and Pupper. I think Pupper team is fantastic overall. Bulutran, plus Nidoqueen, plus Staraptor, plus Heracross, and Wash. Really, really good. Revile is a revenge killer and a speed tier cap. At 115. Oh no, it's 125. It's 125. It's really good. I would like, obviously, he had to spend all those points, but I'd like to see a speed gap between Weavile and Staraptor because I think he would be a little bit more comfortable. But this team just provides so much offensive pressure, man. Heatran, Bulu, Nidoking, Weavile. Like Will's team, I think this team needs to be on the front foot. I think if he starts to have to play a little bit defensive, his team will get wearied down a little bit. His team lacks reliable recovery. Um, so if it keeps getting has to come in switching the rocks, every time and getting wearied out, he does have good hazard control. In Wash and in Staraptor, and I think Tornado against Rapid Spin. But getting hazards against this team might be very good because other than Grassy Terrain, his team can't recover as much health as he wants to possibly, but he needs to be on the front foot. I feel like to get that offensive pressure, and I feel like his games will either be done really really fast because his team just provides so much breaking potential. It's crazy. And I love Nidoking in here. I think Nidoking with grassy terrain is very very fantastic. But yeah, I feel like with this team, if you can get this team on the back foot, I think it's very easy to break down some of his checks. Because once one of his things gone, like Heatran or Bulu, his team does kind of collapse. But it's very, very hard to get rid of one of those mons. And Pupper's a great trainer as well. And I don't think he'll let you do that for free. But just because of those situations, I couldn't put him at number one. But as number one, surprisingly, for the first time, I am putting Brian and the Chicago Chikorritas. Not that this team is way better above the edge. I think it's slightly above Pupper and David. Like I said, it could go any way, but I think this team is just very, very good. His value picks are probably the best value picks in the whole entire league. Lantern plus Gligar is crazy. The two good role fitting mons for his team. Volt Absorb plus Water Absorb plus Gligar has the ability to pivot, knock off Stealth Rocks, Defog, and do it all. His team definitely has really good housing control and defog on Coco, Hydreigon on Decidueye, and Stealth Rock setters into Aerodactyl plus Jirachi, and he has just insane breaker in Darmanitan. If he didn't have Darmanitan, I don't think this team would be number one, but I think just the amount of pivots that he has that can drop in an Aerodactyl, Darmanitan, or Coco every single week, as well as he has reliable wish passing into Jirachi that can be utilized however he wants. He has a many Scarf mons that he can use, like Scarf Decidueye, Darmanitan, Jirachi, Pinsir, I guess, now that he picked it up. Oh, and Pinsir gets Stealth Rocks, and Surskit gets Sticky Webs. But yeah, like I think his team just breaks down. Like Darmanitan doesn't want to switch into rock types plus water types, but Coco breaks those down. Decidueye breaks those down. Hydreigon doesn't really want to gets walled by fairies. Jirachi breaks it down. Darmanitan just destroys fairies really, really well. I just think his team pairs are really, really well, especially that amount of pivots he has. Like his first 5 mons all have Volt Switch or U-Turn, plus Gligar. I think this team is just packing heat every single week, and he can be a little bit more versatile with the sets. But they're all scary in their own right, and I think that's why Chicago Chikorritas is the number one on this in the draft. Doesn't mean it's still gonna win, because it is Brian, and he does get rigged, but overall, I definitely like Brian's team the most, and I feel like it has the least amount of problems on his team. Well, yeah.
Well, after 2 tries, because we tried to do this last night, but we got it done now. So that is the Season 10 Power Rankings. Thanks, Ryan, for getting that all sorted out and whatnot. But now that we're done, the FA period will probably be commencing today.
It begins right now.
Oh, it's now because Brian got his last pick in?
Brian just got Pinsir, and then he got Munchlax.
Who got Munchlax?
Will.
Oh, crap. Well, I have a pick, too. And so does Pokey.
Do you have a pick?
Yeah. I'm going to take Bidoof. Just because. Yeah.
All
right. Well, there's the draft. Thanks, guys, for watching. And from here on, all the power rankings will be based on how you play, not how your team did, kind of in that way, if you can understand that.
Well, how, yeah. Actually, yeah, how you play.
How you play. All right. See you guys then.
Peace.